Russia has caught up with the West in crop yields and is catching up in breeding hens. Also, 16 new and modernized agribusinesses were opened during the month. But first things first. Last month, in December, 16 new and modernized enterprises of agro-industrial complex and food industry were opened with capital investments of more than 100 million rubles each. Smaller productions were not included in the survey. Also, 5 new major facilities were launched with investments of over 1 billion rubles each. The total amount of invested funds the projects amount to more than 20 billion rubles. So, a dairy farm was opened in the Kurgan region. It was opened in the village of Maltsevo, Shadrinsky Municipal District. It is a cattle breeding complex, designed for 400 cows with a full cycle of growing young animals. This is one of the first agricultural projects in the Urals and so far the only one in the Kurgan region created entirely with Russian equipment. Holstein and Black Beast cows were purchased from breeding farms in the Ural Federal District. The company expects to increase milk production from 572 tons to 3,200 tons annually. It is planned to reach its design capacity in 2025. 460 million rubles have been invested in the complex. A new seed complex was opened in Tatarstan. The complex is designed for storage and processing of August Tayulyachi seeds. It was opened near the village of Uzak in the Tayulyachinsky district of the Republic of Tatarstan. The facility with a capacity of 10 tons per hour will produce seeds of azim and spring wheat, peas and other crops. On average, the organization plans to receive 25,000 tons of seeds per year. The plant is equipped with high-tech equipment, with the help of which multi-stage cleaning and calibration of grain and its treatment with plant protection agents will be carried out. A new calf barn was opened in the Arkhangels region. This modern calf house is arranged in the Vashskaya enterprise, which is located in the village of Blagoveshenskoy, Velsky district. The new calf house has 256 individual houses made of materials that can be washed and disinfected properly. The necessary microclimate is maintained in them with the help of automatic windproof curtains and ventilation system. This enterprise is successfully developing with government support. Since the beginning of 2023, 117 million rubles have been allocated to it from the federal budget and the budget of the Arkhangels region. A plant for the production of gelatin was opened in the Kursk region. It was opened on December 5 in the village of Chernitsino, Oktyabrski district, Kursk region. It is planned that the company's products will cover about 50% of the Russian market demand. Before that, all gelatin was mostly imported from abroad. Investments in construction exceeded 4 billion rubles. The launch of the enterprise allowed to create 100 new jobs for the residents of the region. It will provide about 420 million rubles a year of additional tax deductions to the regional budget. After production reaches full capacity, by 2025 it is planned to reach the production of about 6,000 tons of products per year. Modernization of the Balakovo oil extraction plant was completed. It is located in the city of Balakovo, Saratov region. It will process 2,400 tons of seed per day, rather than 1,800 tons as before. Annual volume of processing will be up to 800,000 tons of seeds. Technical re-equipment of Balakovo Mesa is one of the most ambitious projects of Russo Gray's oil and fat business segment. Its implementation will allow the site to reach record production volumes of sunflower oil, granulated husk and meal, while improving product quality and maximizing production efficiency. Voronezh Malvest launched 2 production lines and an experimental workshop. Investments amounted to 475 million rubles. The first ultra-clean milk bottling line with a capacity of 2,000 tons of milk per month. A second drinking yogurt production line that will produce 1,800 tons of yogurt per month. The company has also set up an experimental and scientific workshop for the development of dry ingredients worth more than Rub 200 million together with the Voronezh State University of Engineering Technologies. The Tyumen region has fully covered its needs in greenhouse vegetables. The official opening of the 4th stage of Tyumen Agro's greenhouse complex in the village of Narimanovo took place on December 13. The complex is part of the Rost group of companies growing vegetables in protected ground. Full capacity utilization of the TC will make it possible to fully satisfy the year-round demand for cucumbers and tomatoes in the Tyumen region and significantly saturate the markets of other regions with tomatoes and cucumbers. The complex became the largest on the territory from the Urals to the Pacific Ocean. The realization of the investment project provided jobs for 370 more people. The total budget of the project amounted to more than 16 billion rubles. The 3rd stage of the seed plant in the Samara region has started operating. Agro Holding, Grain and Life, put into operation in the village of Novaya Karmala, Samara region, the 3rd stage of this plant for the production of elite seeds. Within the framework of the 3rd stage, silo storage capacities for 7,000 tons were built. The total storage volume at the plant exceeded 20,000 tons. The total cost of the project in 3 stages amounted to about 250 million rubles. Modernization of a plant for the production of breast milk substitutes in the Moscow region was completed. The company Infoprim from Istra, near Moscow, has completed installation and adjustment of the equipment. The company is among the import substituting and backbone enterprises of the country. Thanks to the modernization of equipment, the annual output will reach 10,000 tons of breast milk substitutes. The investments made in the project amounted to more than 4 billion rubles. Agroprom Komplektatsiya opened a new pig farm and elevator in the Ryazan region. The Poplavinsky pig farm was put into operation in the Ryazhki district of the Ryazan region. Poplavinsky launched a new production segment, the feed section. The first batch of 310 breeding young stock was quarantined. The overall project of agro-industrial complex in the Ryazan region involves the construction of 5 new automated pig farms for 80,000 heads each and auxiliary facilities. Total project cost, 26 billion rubles. The harvest of 23 years collected on the fields of the enterprise went to the elevator grain storage capacity of 150,000 tons. The cost of the elevator is estimated at 2 billion rubles. Cherkizovsky meat processing plant in Moscow opened new buildings. The expansion of production within the framework of the strategic investment plan determined the needs of the enterprise for new capacities. The first building includes modern production and welding shops, warehouses, utility blocks and administrative offices. A resting place for workers is also provided. The second building is fully dedicated to the assembly shop and increases the production capacity of the plant. Miratorg launched a new Pilshin production base in the Bryansk region. The new complex is designed to improve the quality of farmland cultivation, ensure efficient fodder preparation for animals at the feedlot and cattle farms, and create comfortable conditions in rural areas for 400 people to work. The company invested 200 million rubles in the creation of the complex. A cattle breeding complex for 685 cows was opened in the Vologda Oblast. The complex consists of 2 barns for 300 cows each, as well as a maternity ward for 85 cows. The realization of the investment project allowed to create a modern facility with the use of new technologies in dairy cattle breeding. Non-tethered cow housing with a modern milking parlor with computerization of milking processes. In the barn building, polymer covering of the feed table was installed, automatic drinkers, automatic brushes and combers were installed. Mats are provided in the animal rest area. Preparation and distribution of feed mixture is carried out by a mixer feeder. In addition, administrative and living quarters and a sanitary and veterinary passageway were built. The total cost of the project is 328 million rubles. A plant for the production of fish feed has been built in Saratov. It was built by Prometrica LLC. This company is engaged in the production of feed for fish farms. The investment amounted to 240 million rubles. 39 jobs will open. The new plant is expected to produce 20,000 tons of products per year. Neroferma launched a dairy complex in Rostovsky district, Yaroslavl region. The first phase of the work has already been completed. As part of the first phase of the project, a dairy and cattle complex was commissioned in September 2023. A barn for 420 cattle places, a maternity and drying department, a shed for fodder with the area of 1,008 square meters were built. Sanitary passageway with a children's barrier. The first phase of work has already invested more than 700 million rubles. And now it is about Russia catching up with the West in terms of crop yields and catching up in terms of breeding hens. Here is a clear illustration of the meteoric leap our farmers have made in the last 20 years. Unfortunately, during the Soviet era, the Soviet Union lagged hopelessly behind Western countries in grain yields. So we had to import grain, especially from Canada. Critical dependence on food imports was one of the reasons for the Soviet Union's defeat in the Cold War. However, over the last 20 years, wheat yields in Russia have more than doubled. So much so that it has consistently exceeded Canadian yields for the past 3 years. Canadian wheat yields were almost always higher than Russian wheat, sometimes up to 1.5 times higher. The exception is the worst Canadian drought in 100 years in 2001. But in the last 10 years, yields in Canada have gone downhill. The mean parallel of this green spot is 51 latitude, Sharot, Voronezh, Kursk, Saratov. So it's the only place on Earth to make a valid comparison with Russia. One can imagine what will happen when agriculture in the regions of Novorossiya is fully restored. This will noticeably strengthen Russia's position in the global grain market. Let me remind you that Russia is already supposedly the #1 wheat exporter right now. At least that was the case for the 2021 data. And then a significant part of our exports went into the shadows. So there are no more or less accurate statistics yet. Now to the question of how much Russia depends on imports of breeding chickens necessary for the normal operation of poultry farms. For the moment, Russia depends on it for the time being. But we already have an enterprise that is breeding meat breed chickens. For example, This is the Breeding and Genetics Center, Smena, near Sergiev Posad. Last year, when the rooster was crowing, the state invested a huge sum for the poultry industry in the development of this center. In Sergei Posad, a large poultry complex of 5 production sites and 20 new poultry houses was built and launched. The breeding stock of domestic broiler chickens is already being raised here. The head of the Ministry of Agriculture, Dmitry Petrushev, reported on the work of the enterprise to Russian President Vladimir Putin. This project is unique for our country. It is the first full-cycle breeding center to use the most modern equipment and the most advanced poultry technologies. This breeding and genetics center is not designed to produce poultry meat. Here they will raise breeding birds for Russian poultry farms. Capacity of the complex, 26 million hatching eggs per year.